Today, what I want to do is I want to talk about a man who was slated to be killed in this upcoming month of November. He's on death row. His name is Tracy Beatty. Date of birth January 23rd, 1961. He got into the system 8/13/2004. He was 43 when he was actually admitted into prison. The offense that he's accused of happened in 2003. He's a white man and he's from Texas, Smith County. Okay. Now, basically, Tracy Beatty was given an execution date of November 9th, 2022. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in Texas refused to halt the execution of Tracy Beatty on the grounds that mental competency evaluation was unconditional. The two doctors who evaluated Beatty asked that he be unshackled, but their request was denied. Beatty and his attorneys then sued the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to have the evaluation performed while unshackled. He was also asking for a stay of execution until the matter was resolved. The court refused both requests. Beatty still has other appeals pending in his quest to halt his execution. Texas plans to execute Tracy Beatty at 6 p.m. local time on Wednesday, November 9th, 2022. The execution will take place at Wall's Unit Execution Chamber inside the Huntsville State Penitentiary in Huntsville, Texas. 61-year-old Tracy is convicted of murdering his mother, 62-year-old Carolyn Callie Click, on November 25th, 2003, in Tyler, Texas. Tracy has spent the last 18 years on Texas death row. Tracy did not have an easy childhood, leading to a strained relationship with his mother. He dropped out of school after the 10th grade. Tracy has an extensive criminal history, including drug possession, theft, weapons possession, assault against a child, assault against his mother, and assault against a correctional officer, amongst others. Tracy was also allegedly a member of a prison gang. At the time of his arrest, Tracy was unemployed, working odd jobs for Callie's neighbor. His mother's neighbor. Although Tracy Beatty and Callie Click were family, they had a volatile and combative relationship. However, in October of 2003, Callie allowed Beatty to move in with her, despite telling her neighbor that Beatty had assaulted her several times in the past. Callie, his mother, was excited about Beatty's arrival, hoping that the two could repair their broken relationship. The excitement that Callie felt at Beatty's arrival was short-lived. Before the month was over, Callie had asked Beatty to leave. She asked him to leave again on November 25th, 2003. That evening, between 5 and 5:30 p.m., Beatty arrived at the home of his cousin, Stacy, driving Callie, his mother's vehicle. According to Stacy, that was unusual because Callie was very protective of her vehicle, never letting anyone else drive it. Beatty also smelled strongly of alcohol. When Stacy inquired as to the whereabouts of Callie, his mother, Beatty claimed that she was out of town with friends for a few weeks. Beatty left Stacy's home after a few minutes, going to his mother's neighbor's home for dinner and remaining there until late that evening. The following day, Beatty informed the neighbor that Callie was out of town with a male friend for several days. Beatty created several stories regarding his mother's death. First, he told police that Callie's boyfriend killed her and that he killed the boyfriend, dumping his body in a lake and burying his mother in the backyard. He later told the police that he had come home drunk and choked her when she started complaining. Beatty claimed he did not realize she was dead until the following day. Beatty has told several different stories to friends and family members. This is not Tracy Beatty's first scheduled execution. At least 2 execution dates were previously scheduled for Tracy. All stayed for varying reasons. Tracy is seeking to halt his execution, arguing that he is ineligible to be executed because he has an intellectual disability. Last month, 2 doctors conducted psychiatric evaluations. Their results were inconclusive as officials refused to uncuff Beatty for the test. The doctors alleged that parts of the test require free use of the hands and arms. However, both doctors also think it is likely that Beatty has a mental illness. Beatty is asking that he be given a 180-day reprieve due to these findings and to allow the test to be completed without cuffs. Okay? And just giving you some general information about this guy. He's scheduled to be executed pretty soon. A White House man and Texas death row inmate who murdered his mother in 2003 filed a lawsuit this week against state prison officials, arguing his looming execution could be unconstitutional. Tracy Beatty is scheduled to die by lethal injection on November 9th, but his attorneys argue he could have intellectual disabilities that would exempt him from the death penalty under the 8th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution per Atkins versus Virginia, the precedent. Beatty has been on death row since August of 2004 when he was sentenced by Smith County jury for the capital murder of his 62-year-old mother, Carolyn Callie Click. During the trial, forensic psychiatrist testified Beatty didn't have a mental illness and had a normal IQ. Beatty, whose criminal history began when he was a teenager, was 43 when he killed his mother 2 days before Thanksgiving in '03. Click told Beatty he had to move out of her mobile home, where she let him stay with her friend after he finished serving prison time for intentionally injuring his 18-month-old niece. Click, his mother, and Beatty always had a volatile relationship, but witnesses at the time testified Click had forgiven her son and was excited about the potential to repair their relationship, so she welcomed him into her home that October. Things changed quickly as Click asked him once to leave that month, then again on November 25th, '03, the last day she was seen alive. Evidence showed Beatty brutally killed his mother by strangling her to death and badly beating her, breaking bones and causing trauma to her head. He then burned her personal items, stole her car, and drained all her bank accounts and credit cards to buy drugs and alcohol. Beatty was jailed again, this time on auto and theft charges in Henderson County when he began telling fellow inmates about murdering his mother. He also requested to speak to investigators so he could lead them to Click's body to get her out of the hole before Christmas, according to the Morning Telegraph. On December 23, 2003, cadaver dogs found her nude, contorted body in a small, shallow grave behind her pale yellow trailer on County Road 2323 in White House, Texas. Beatty buried her with mothballs and garlic, covered her with cat litter and lumber, and tied pantyhose over her neck and face, according to the Morning Telegraph. He showed no remorse or emotion during his sentencing or the trial itself, where he appeared bored and doodled in a notepad the majority of the time. During the trial, forensic psychiatrist Dr. Edward Gripon and another psychiatrist testified that Beatty's behavior was consistent with the lifelong condition of antisocial personality disorder. However, they concluded he was not mentally ill to any significant degree and had an IQ of 100, which places him in the middle of the population. Now, Beatty's attorneys argue he could be intellectually disabled and therefore not rightfully eligible to be executed after a 2002 U.S. Supreme Court ruling. According to a civil rights suit filed on October 21st against Texas Department of Criminal Justice, Beatty's attorneys requested psychiatric evaluations last month to determine his competency. 2 doctors attempted to evaluate him, but he was not able to be unrestrained. In order to complete these tests, he needed to be uncuffed. Officials didn't allow that to happen. So yeah, man, this is an interesting case. The idea that, this guy knows exactly what time he's going to die, what day he's going to die. The Texas Department of Corrections have put, hey, this guy's going to die in November on this day at this time. And it's just very interesting, man, because as you know, Texas, they're the leader of inmate deaths, and the leader of capital punishment in the world. And every single day, every single month rather, people are getting executed. You understand? And these people know exactly when they're going to die and what time they're going to die. And the psychology of that is just crazy. Peace.